So yeah, this is railroading, guys. Like, we've had a pretty good trip so far, but yeah, we got screwed at Ideal pretty good here. So, all right, let's do some railroading. We're back on run 8, back on the Fitzgerald sub with our 12,622 ton coal train. We're on the N17126 heading south. This is a Stanton coal train. It's 4,900 feet, 4,925, 0.7 HPT. We've got 2 aces on the head end. And we're picking up where we left off on our last video, just south of Talbotton. Remember, we just went through Talbotton. We met 214 there. We pulled out of the siding pretty slow over that little knot there. And we're just south of Talbotton. So we're going to do this video a little different today. We're going to do commentary as we play versus commentary after. So we'll kind of skip around different points in the video, stuff like that. So anyway, let's take it straight south. All right, so we're between Talbotton and Junction City, a place called Junction City, Georgia. This is going to be the Junction City mine. Over here on the right, you can see the tracks there. It's a huge rock quarry. Tons and tons of unit rock trains come out of there. I think they did maybe single car loads back then as well too. I'm almost positive they did. Don't quote me on that, but I think they may have done that as well. But a lot of unit trains out of there. And the signal down there way in the distance is going to be Highway 90. Going over this road crossing here. I can't remember what this crossing was. But what a beautiful view, right? With the trees in the distance. I dig it. I like it. Like I said, I know a lot of people have problem with the trees and stuff like that, but I think it looks fine. It runs good for me. And we're able to have like tons and tons and tons of trains running on a full railroad. Like, I don't know of anything else that could possibly do that, right? All right, let's get a little horn action for Highway 90. And we'd call our signal, we'd say CSX N17126 got to clear Highway 90, 4846 south out. That's the way I would call it. That's the way I would call it. Nothing, nothing too crazy. I think they're a lot more strict about it nowadays than what they were back then. All right, let's come out of throttle a little bit here. We got 40 coming up in 0.4 miles, so yeah, we need to kind of slow her up just a tad. Let's get a little air. Hit our independent. Bail that independent off, right? We still in the throttle, keeping her stretched. This is just how I like to run it. I use a lot of air. I'm an air heavy guy. I'm an air heavy guy. I like using air. There you go, 41. Let's go ahead and release the brakes. 41 on our entry into the 40 mile an hour speed restriction there, so not bad. 37 now. We come out on the throttle a little bit. Keep her stretched. All right, we're coming up to another location here called Winchester Junction. This is going to be Martin Marietta rock quarry. Pretty much same as the Junction City one. Big rock quarry. A lot of unit trains out of here, right? A lot of unit rock trains out of here. I don't ever remember seeing company rock trains come out of there. We used to load company rock trains a lot up around Peachtree City, Georgia. I don't remember company rock trains coming out of here. Usually it's for customers that I can remember. Not saying that they didn't, but it was all customers. All right, we rolling along 33. We hit our 25, or I mean our 35 back there. All right, we got an approach on a distant to Brown Sand. And I know because Otto has not given me a light at the south end of Brown Sand, so we're going to hit that. We're going to tone up the dispatcher. We're going to try to get a light. Hopefully we'll get close enough. I really don't want to stop down there. I'm hoping he'll give me a light. All right, as we roll into Junction City, you got this spur off to the left. That's pretty cool. I think they loaded sand down there way back in the day. That was out of service even when I worked 20 years ago. I think they loaded sand down there. It went pretty far back. I think they loaded sand down there. I'm not sure. Got another little road crossing coming up here. Junction City's a really cool area. It's got a huge, long fill there. Probably one of the longest fills I think I can remember on the railroad. And we'll cross over the NS here.
Equipment defect detector. Milepost 762.7.
Really cool little spot there. The NS, the Norfolk Southern. I think that goes Columbus to Fort Valley. Maybe. I'm not really sure on that. All right, let's go ahead and get some air. Fill this independent off before we run our slack in. I don't want to get too much. I want to ease around here and keep rolling. I really don't want to stop unless I have to. Yeah, I don't want to stop unless we have to. If we can ease around here about 10 or 15. I think that's good. I think we let go there now. What we got coming up? I can't remember the approach to that signal, if it's in a curve or if it's on a straightaway. I'm hoping it's a straightaway, at least a little bit. Got about 1% grade here. This is why I don't want to stop. I really don't want to stop here unless we just absolutely have to. Basically, what we want to do is just ease around there looking out. We're going to be expecting a stop signal. I'm not really sure what we're going to have. I hope he gives us the light. Maybe I'd get some sand too while we're at it. Any other time we would just cruise through here like this. 1% wouldn't hurt us too terribly bad, but all right, let's ease around here to the south end. Let's see what we got. I hope we have a light. I really don't want to stop. Looks like there's someone sitting in the hole there. And we do have a light. Sweet. All right, we got a medium clear, so we can go on in. Now, if he had us lined up to begin with, we would have had an approach medium back there on a distant, but we got a medium clear in. And we're meeting a train here at Brown Sand, and per my lineup that I made, this should be the Q180 out of Jacksonville. It was Jacksonville to Memphis service back in the day. This was a cool train pair that we ran back then. They put these on right about the time I hired out. They did the 179 and the 180, and basically what they did is they ran it from Memphis to Jacksonville via trackage rights on the BNSF down to Birmingham, and then we took them from Birmingham down to Jacksonville. Man, yeah, we're struggling on that 1% back there. So yeah, they were cool trains. They ran for a few years. They're not, the 180 isn't that anymore. I think that symbol's changed a few times over the years, but back then 179, 180 were basically for us Birmingham to Jacksonville pigs. What they did is they replaced the 125 and the 126, I think what it was. It ran Memphis over to Nashville, Nashville down to Atlanta, Atlanta over the Georgia Road to Augusta, Augusta, Savannah, and then down to Jacksonville that way. So they kind of made like this round robin trip. They got the trackage rights agreement with the BNSF, then we just started running them direct. So cool train. The only thing about the 180 and 179, especially the 179, I knew of guys that literally, like, they would go on duty, they would taxi over to the BNSF yard, and they would wait for like 12 hours. Like, literally crews would go dead. Like, the coordination between like calling our crews and getting the train there to their yard was like so bad that we literally had crews going dead at the yard office there waiting on the train that never showed up. I think the longest I ever waited was 6 hours on the train. Like, they could not coordinate that handoff between the BNSF and CSX back then for whatever reason. A lot of times what would happen is if our crew went dead waiting is because their crew went dead en route somewhere. So it was kind of a pain. Probably why they quit running those trains, maybe. I don't know. All right, got this little road crossing here. I don't know if it's a private crossing or what. It's not marked, and I sure enough can't remember, but give it a few blasts on the horn. Nothing too crazy. Just mainly for like, always looked at like pedestrians that might be trying to cross in between the cars there to cross, because you know automobiles aren't a problem, but you never know if a person might try to slip through. Kind of make it out a little bit of a climb there, about 1% coming out, so it really kind of sucks. Like, if we had to stop, I would stop probably somewhere down in here. I wouldn't pull all the way down to the south end. The Y on the left is going to be another place that they loaded sand. I want to say they put that, like, that was out of service for a while, and they put that in service right about the time I left, maybe, I'm thinking, or shortly after or something like that. But all right, got medium clear out of siding. 48, 46 south out. So we had some good meets. They've really done a good job lining us up for these meets. We haven't had to stop, and you don't want to do that on these 0.7 HPT coal trains. And this is what we ran. Now, nowadays, I know they run like DPU and all that stuff. Oh man, we're getting really, really fast. Getting really fast. I wasn't paying attention. Get some air. I was sitting here running my mouth. That's why I don't like doing commentary as we're running. Man, we're going to hit this hard. We're going to hit this one really fast. Not saying that hasn't happened. I haven't seen that maybe happen in real life. Hitting the switch a little fast. Yeah, we're going to hit it pretty good here. If we can hit it at 30, we'd be all right. It's actually 25-mile-an-hour siding. I wasn't even paying attention. We'll hit it about 30, so it'd be all right. We'll be all right. We'll be good. Yeah, 31. We're good. The switch is good for 30. Go ahead and come back out on the throttle. We'll be doing 25 by the time we get a few cars over it. Place on the right. There's no place loaded sand. It's cool. They load a lot of sand around here. Sand and rock. I want to say back in the day that was like Uniman or something like that. I don't know what it is now. It may not have been Uniman back then. I may be just completely thinking of something different. All right, so we gotta tighten up. Pay attention to what we're doing here. We're just dragging along. We're picking up a little speed here. We're picking up a little bit, but we're just dragging along, right? We get no hurry for no one on a coal train. Another nice little farm out here. Look at that. Got some cows out there. Nice. Got some Holsteins. Very cool. We used to have, used to raise cattle when I was a kid. One of the meanest ones we ever had was a Holstein. I don't know why. He was ill-tempered. You check out that whistle post right there. Now these whistle posts, I've seen people mention something about those on some of the forums and stuff. Those whistle posts are vintage. The big, the tall pole with the white, with the, like, they're white and the black lines on it. Those things are vintage. They're from the Atlantic Coastline. They're installed by the Atlantic Coastline when they bought this railroad from the Atlanta, Birmingham, and Coast back in the day. And got clear on a distant to Malk. Interesting. Because I think we're supposed to be meeting someone down there. That may be a little bit of a bug. We're going to cheat for a second here. We're going to look. Yeah, we're going in at Malk. We should have an approach limited there. We should definitely have an approach limited there. That's a bug. That's absolutely a bug. Unless something's really different up here that I'm not thinking about. But we should have an approach limited. So we're going to go up there at limited speed, 45 mile an hour or less probably. But dang, I done lost track of what I was talking about. Completely lost track. That's got me perplexed why we got to clear on a distant to Malk. That shouldn't be. Oh, the whistle post. Yeah, the whistle post. There's put in by Atlantic Coastline probably shortly after they bought the Atlanta, Birmingham, and Coast back in 46. So they're concrete. There's a whole bunch of posts underground as well as what you see out the top. They're crazy heavy, like several hundred pounds. They're concrete. They got rebar in them, and the stripes on the front are actually like embossed in the surface. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. You don't see those anymore. They don't use those anymore. I mean, there's some still around because they last forever, right? But as they get broke or damaged or have to relocate them, they put in a traditional whistle post. So yeah, those things will be gone. I would love to have one, but they're so dang heavy. There's no way. Like, there's no way. All right, you see the sag here. You see how the grade kind of undulates through here a little bit, right? It's just constantly up and down the whole way. If you notice at the track details at the top of the screen there, we had a 1% down into that sag there and a straight 1% right back up. Like, it's so brutal. There's so many hogbacks and sags and stuff like that on this railroad. It's crazy. It really just is. They really kind of stuck to the terrain when they built it. They didn't do a lot of cutting and filling and stuff like that. All right, so yeah, we do have a limited clear into the double track here. So yeah, there's definitely a bug with that signal back there. It was showing a clear. We should have had an approach limited. We got limited clear. So yeah, that's not right at all. That's not right at all. Let's see, what's our speed? 26? Yeah, we're fine. We're absolutely fine. Is that a crossing right here? I can't tell. It's a little, okay, it's a greaser. So we're meeting another train here at Malk. Another good meet. We just keep moving, like we don't have to stop for no one so far. Knock on wood. I don't know, who is this? Who is this sitting right here? I'm not sure. We'll see in just a second. We get up here by him. We'll see. Maybe we can dope out who it is. I can't remember. Could be another coal train. Another empty. Yeah, it's another empty coal train. I want to say this could be like an N100 or something like that. I can't remember. All right, so Malk. Malk's going to be started the big grade downhill. This place called the Georgia Fall Line. It's where the Piedmont transitions to the coastal plain, and the train drops 100, 200 feet, something like that. So we come off Malk, and we'll go downhill a little bit, and then it'll kind of level out and stair step, and then we got a big grade all the way down towards Rupert. So we got a 45-mile-an-hour reduction in 2 miles. So yeah, we'll just cruise along at 45. I think what we're going to do is start out in dynamics on this one. There's going to be a few times that I use dynamics. We'll start out in dynamics until we get through that stair step, and then once we get through it, we'll grab some air, and then I don't know if we're going to stay in light dynamic with that and then release the air at the bottom, because at the bottom when you come out of Rupert, it's still downhill, but it's not as steep. So I'm not sure. Yeah, our throttle. Let's watch him by real fast. And 100 train looks good. Marker's hanging. Go ahead and set up some dynamics here. I think that's how I would run it. Like, it could change. It could totally change on us. All right, so let's get to B2. We'll gather up the slack a little bit here. I think B2 may be good for us. We'll see. We'll kind of watch it and see what she does. I think this is number 2 main. I think it was. I can't remember. A nice little area. Someone got him a house out there by a little pond. That's pretty cool. All right, Greyhound Dog Road. How do you like that name? I remember there's a place in, it's either in North Georgia or Tennessee around Chattanooga. It's called Cockroach Lane. How would you like to live on that road? I'd much rather want to live on Greyhound than Cockroach, right? Let's see, we got the Distant to Dyson coming up. What do we got up here? Yeah, we got to clear on the distant. The Dyson. Yeah, you see, we lost a little speed here. We're starting to gain back up some, though. We're on that little bit of a stair step here. Southern States Landfill. Big landfill here is a place called Charring. Is worked by the local, and our road freights used to drop cars off here too. I've dropped cars off there before. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and grab a little air this time because we're getting on the steep part of the grade. Since we're in dynamics, it's going to automatically bail the independent off for us. We'll get a little light set here, see what it does. Probably going to need more. Yeah, I think a little bit more. Go 82. Like I said, I'm an air guy. I like using air. It's a sim. You know, it's not like we're going to get a letter. It's not like we're going to get a letter or anything like that. We're not going to get in trouble for using air. The air is demonized nowadays. They don't like guys using air. They want to use those dynamics, and it's a shame. They take in the art of running a train. They're killing it, right? I don't want to say they're babying them, but I don't know. You get in trouble for a lot of things now, from what it seems like, from what I've heard. Yeah, that's good. We'll get a little bit of air there. 8 pounds. We'll ride that down, and then we'll release them down towards Rupert, and then use dynamics down in the Ideal. Ideal is like it kind of, it's still downhill, but it's not as steep, and it kind of undulates a little bit. So it's best to use dynamics on that, I think. All right, coming up to a place called Charring. That place back there, I think I called it Charring. That was actually Trash Dump. Used to call that Trash Dump. And they would take trash in there, as well as I think they took hoppers of lime in there too, or something that they put in with it. I think it was lime. So don't quote me on that, but I think they took lime in there too. A few like little covered hoppers of lime from time to time. I only put trash in there, and it's a funny thing. They like I relieved this train at Ideal because they were short on crews on the fits, and so I got called to relieve a train down there, and they said, you got so many cars on the head end for the trash dump. I had never been in there. They had never told us anything about it. Never cubbed it. Didn't, like, this place was completely foreign to me. So when we got up there to the switch, we stopped short. I cut off, and I told the engineer, I was like, look, they didn't know anything about it either. They're export engineer too. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to walk down in there because I don't know anything about that place. I have no clue what's down in there. And supposedly it was pretty steep going down, like backing down in there, right? And we had like maybe a dozen trash cars, 15, something like that. So I walked all the way down in there, and we spotted the cars up. Like, they had a place where they're obviously unloading the cars. Spotted them up. A Dyson here, crossover at Dyson. So spot the cars up down there, going about our business. A few days later, I see Trainmaster. He's like, why'd you spot the cars in Trash Dump? I was like, are we not supposed to? Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about that place. It's like, yeah, all you had to do is just set them on the lead by the by the main. We didn't even have to spot the cars up. All we had to do is just set them over and tie them down, and they would spot them. Like, they had a track mobile or something down in there. And I was like, well, no one told me. Like, how are we just supposed to just like automatically know this stuff? No one told me anything about that place. So didn't get in trouble or anything like that. You just want to know why I spotted the cars up. All right, so the grade's kind of flattened out a little bit. We just went by the distant to Rupert. We got approach limited. What we're going to do is kind of we'll use some dynamics here on this part. This is where it kind of starts to flatten out a little bit on the distant to Rupert. It doesn't, it's still downhill, but it's not as extreme. It's not the 1% down like it is. There we go, get a little more dynamic. That approach limited, so we got to hit this. We got to hit it at 45 down here at Rupert. There we go. Got limited clear, Rupert. Kill the bill there. So, yeah. Make sure we're good. It's actually kind of hard doing commentary doing this, honestly. Like, running and doing commentary. I'm watching to see if we need to grab a little bit more air. I think we're good, but... see if these dynamics will hold it. I think we're good here. So yeah, Rupert used to be a siding down here before they did the double track up to Malk. Rupert was a little siding. I guess it's like 7,000 or 8,000 feet long. One of the guys, I think one of the guys I work with, or someone got the original signals down here when they took all this all out. Someone got the original searchlights. There we go. Yeah, we're good. All right, let's come out of dynamic just a little bit here. All right, limited clear with Rupert. So 45 through the switch. So from this point all the way down to Ideal, it's kind of downhill, but it's like 0.5% grade, undulating. Like it's up and down a lot here, but predominantly down. And then at Ideal, it gets really super flat. For about the length of the siding, then towards the south end, there's a couple little knots or little rises there we have to go over. All right, those little black things you see on the track there, those are greaser mats. That's where they got a rail greaser there for the curve, so there's not quite as much wear and tear and friction between the wheels and the curve. And they put these black mats down on the track to like keep the grease from getting into the ground. As it's the EPA thing or something. They used to not do that. I remember when I was a kid, it was just a greaser on the ballast, right? They started putting those mats down. I think they started putting those mats down in what, in the 90s, like the late 90s maybe. So here we are coming along to the DD here at Ideal and Fowler Road, Southland. So you got the traditional whistle post here. So they must have gotten damaged at some point or something and replaced with those. Cool area, one of my favorite spots on the run.
CSX Equipment Defect Detector. Milepost 740.8.
I think there used to be a station stop down here at Southland. I think there was a maybe a little siding and a station stop down here back in the day. It was on the timetable, on the old timetables. I think they had something there. There's so many little places along the lines that are like long gone. Like I remember old heads telling me about sidings and station stops that I never dreamed in a million years would be in these locations because they're been long gone for like decades, right? All right, let's see. We've got something other than a clear. We got an advanced approach on the distant to Ideal. So basically means we got to be prepared to stop, not at the next signal after this one, but the one after that. So we'll have the advanced approach, the approach, and then a stop signal. So we're going to be stopping at the south end of Ideal for someone or something. We'll just kind of ease along down there. There we go, by the advanced approach. I remember some guys telling me back in the day that they were wanting to get away from the advanced approach because people weren't taking action. Like it wasn't. Let's see how to put it. It was letting them know to stop within 2 signals, but it wasn't like giving them a directive or an action to take. It was like, oh, okay, advanced approach. Well, let's just keep moving along. So what they started doing was replacing those with like an approach limited or an approach medium. That way you had to take some kind of action, you know. We're not going to take any action. We're staying in throttle. It's all throttle, baby. Soft throttle. Another one of my favorite locations on the route. This is such a nice little spot here with the kudzu. If you're not familiar with kudzu, it's a invasive vine that takes over everything. It takes over houses, telephone poles. It can grow like feet over the course of a night. Like, it's crazy how fast that stuff grows. Good spot though. I love it right here, the dirt road and the little houses and everything. It's a nice little spot. It's typical Central Georgia, right? Like, this screams Georgia to me. Here our speed's doing, so it's kind of flat right here. We'll come out of it a little bit. Man, I'm telling you, it's so hard, like, running and doing commentary. Like, I feel like I don't get to think as much ahead as I should. Grab some air in a minute here. All right, got approach North Ideal, 4846 South Outs. So we'll be stopping, roll by at 44. We'll be all right. We'll grab a little air. Ideal's what? 10,000 feet long, maybe? Maybe a little more. I can't remember exactly, but we got plenty of time. So we're gonna be making another meet. I don't know who. I can't remember, but we're meeting someone here. I set this scenario up a few days back. Actually, it's probably several days ago. Last week sometime. And so I set it up. I did all the trains, and I did like a lineup, and I can't remember like what the meets are. Ooh, a little stutter there. All right, so as we come around to the south end of Ideal, it's kind of a tricky spot down there because when you leave off, there's like a little knot down there. It's like 1%. There's either 1 or 2 knots down there. I can't remember, but either way, it's going to be a hard time for us to get started. It's like if we were stretched on that 1% grade. So what I want to try to do is bunch the train on that grade. That way we can get each car individually rolling versus trying to move all of them at one time if we were stretched. So not sure. We may do that with dynamic actually. Actually, I think as we start to climb up on this little knot right here, we may actually have to pull on them. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll pull on it because if you look at the stats, the grade's going up a little bit. It's 0.1. So we're starting to climb up on that little knot down here on the south end. So kind of a tricky location because you got this curve to the right. You can't see the signal until the last minute, and I want to stop with it. I want to try to stop it bunch. So what we'll do is we'll grab the air, and then as we start to stop, we're going to give it some independent and try to bunch it up a little bit. Like I said, I don't know how they would do it in real life. I really don't know. Like I said, I was never an engineer, so that's how I like to run in game. You get a lot of leeway in game, right? Like I said, you don't have to worry about hurting anyone. You don't have to worry about getting a letter. All right, let's go ahead and give her some air. More air. There we go. Then as our speed comes down, we'll ease. We're kind of easing up a little closer on it. There we go. Now let's give her some independent. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. We released them. Or had a misclick there. We almost goofed it up. We'll be all right though. Give her a little bit more air. All right, so we're stopped at the south end of Ideal for some reason. I don't know why. We're going to be meeting someone, I guess. We can call up the dispatcher, see what he has to say. We'll do, we'll tone him up here. See what he says. When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. He's snarky today. He's having a bad day, right? He's got a, that's the thing about the auto dispatcher. The AI dispatcher has an attitude. I like true life, right? You gotta like true to life. All right, I guess we'll sit here and wait. There we go. There's a train coming around the curve. We'll hop over on the other side here. We'll watch them by. We'll see who this is. I don't know who this is supposed to be. I can't remember. There's our train, in case you were wondering. I don't even think I've shown it. All right, let's see who this is. Got some old power on the head end. The slot freight, this is gonna be 544. Yeah, it's gonna be 544 to Cincinnati. Pretty cool. Sounds pretty nice. I got a sound mod that was sent to me. That was done by someone. I couldn't tell you who, but it's an awesome. Whoever did this, it sounds amazing. It really does. It kind of it improves the sound of the cars when they go by. All right, 544. Train looks good. Markers hanging over. All right, there you go, guys. That was 544. We just met at Ideal. I don't know. Are we going to get a light out, or we got to wait for someone else? Maybe. I'm not sure on that. Let's take a peek real fast and see. Yeah, they've got us waiting on another one by Dueling. Man, we got stuck big time. We got stuck big time. We won't fit at Oglethorpe, right? Like, I don't think we will. Oglethorpe's 4849. Yeah, we're 4,900 feet and change, so we won't go in at Oglethorpe. And this guy's by Dueling, so yeah, we're gonna be here a hot minute, and I think we're going to call it right here. We'll pick up in the next episode from here. But yeah, this is Railroading, guys. Like, we've had a pretty good trip so far. But yeah, we got screwed at Ideal pretty good here. So it could be worse. We could be waiting on 5. I have done that in real life before, waiting on 5 and sat for like 4 hours. So anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like, subscribe. Ring that bell, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Love all of you, and we'll catch you on the rails next time. Peace.